What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka Man Behind the Can at Seltzer Time Official. Here as always with my conversation accomplice, man with the hunch about Worcester, Trax.
What is cracking, Fizzle Fiends? Or rather, what is happening, Carbonation Nation?
I'm guessing you talked to Lucas.
Yeah, shout out to Lucas for that amazing. I love it, Carbonation Nation. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Seltzer Time podcast. As always, we are so glad you're with us. This is episode number 70. Holy crap, 70. And this week we're talking to what? What was that about?
That's kind of wild that we're at 70 already.
Yeah, I mean, every week the number grows, obviously, but it's these big landmark ones, like the 10s, that I'm like, oh shit, we've been doing this for a minute. Anyway, this week we have J.E. Rome, author of Tapped Yet Unrooted, Poetic Word Slaughter. It's his first book, and we're going to talk to him about, you know, what it was like to release a book and write poetry and do all this cool shit. But before we get there, you know what we have to do. Hey, Ricky, how was your week?
What's up? My week was good, actually. Yeah, it was good. Trying to think of like what I did. I think last week was like probably the first week in a while where nothing like, I mean, not that like anything crazy has been happening. There's nothing to do, but like, there's no like, it was just a week. It kind of felt a little normal.
It felt normal to me because we had a mission, and I had a couple missions happening. So like, I'm kind of a stress junkie, so I love living on deadlines. And I had a couple like major deadlines last week of stuff we were releasing and putting out there in the world. So it felt really nice to have that again. Like that felt very humanizing, or at least like back to normal type of deal. Yeah.
I mean, it was good. There was a bunch of like, I don't know. I don't even actually know. I didn't really do anything last week. Just kind of like chilled. I'm trying to think of like when we talked last. We talked last Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So that was Naomi's birthday.
Yeah, so looks like you had a fun time, and then you had your anniversary.
Yep, our anniversary was on Monday, so that was pretty sweet.
What'd you guys do? You guys do anything? Did you make it special at all?
We got some pizzas from Volturno and just kind of chilled. It was pretty awesome. Oh, I finished Harry Potter this week.
So you did all 7 or 8, technically, movies?
Yes. Yeah, we did all 8 movies over the course of, I don't know, like 2.5 weeks-ish.
Are you a fan?
So that was cool.
Are you a fan? What? Are you a fan now? Like,
yeah. No, it was awesome. Super into it. I really liked. I think the 4th and 5th movie, if I remember correctly, those 2 are my favorite.
Quidditch Cup.
I think so. Yeah, it was I don't know what it was about those. I think it was just like the first couple. Again, I went into this like basically blind, so going into Harry Potter with somebody who like lives and dies and loves Harry Potter was interesting. On so many different levels. Like I needed to learn the characters, which is basically like me through the first, second, and third movie, kind of like learning the characters, learning a little bit more about the story and stuff. And then I think everything just started making sense to me, oddly enough, when it got like really dark.
Sure. Okay.
And then it was very intense. The last 2 were very, very intense. But it was awesome. It was very interesting.
I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. The question that I'm most curious about what you think is, what house do you think you would belong to?
So everybody said Hufflepuff.
I've been texting with your girlfriend saying that I thought you would be, but I was curious what you would think.
Yeah, I mean, probably Hufflepuff. They don't really talk that much about them in the movies. So like, I don't really know, but based on the fact that not a single person who has answered that question has said anything different,
it's your personality. It's your bubbly and friendly and open personality.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm not going to claim that I'm a huge Harry Potter. Like I read the books, but I'm not like I don't know all the lore.
Jerome, have you seen Harry Potter or read it?
I've seen some of them, but not all of them.
Okay, it's quite the ride. I feel like I'm so far behind.
I can't get my fiance to watch them. She doesn't believe in that type of stuff. So.
Really? So I'm not a big like story guy. Like I'm not a big like fantasy person.
Right.
I'll watch movies all day, but I usually like the movies that are like either just like stupid and funny, or if it's like a documentary, like that's just more my speed. Mm-hmm. But this was super, super interesting. I kind of went into it thinking like, all right, like this will be cool. and then I was like tearing up during the last two movies. Like I was
They'll
like,
get you.
fuck.
They knock some
God.
people off, and they get you.
Yeah, it was solid. How was your
Hey,
week? What's up? What happened?
if you could admit that you cried, you're a big man.
I didn't
Agree,
fully
right?
cry. I teared up. I cry every single week though when we watch Some Good News, that like John Krasinski YouTube show.
Right.
I cry every single time we watch it, which we'll probably watch last night's tonight. So I'll be crying at some point
His
later.
editing is so good. He's getting all the best stuff. It's hitting me right in the feels. It's the best. It's like the kind of shit you need right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My week was chill. Work. Sat behind this goddamn computer way too much. My eyes on Friday started doing the thing where they twitch, where they just like constantly vibrate in my head, and I'm like, all right, that probably means I'm staring at screens too much. So I tried to stay away from everything Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good. We did a big old walk. Nothing too crazy.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to sign as many books as possible.
Yeah,
Cool.
I had a feeling.
It's become a nightmare, to be honest with you. I'd never imagined that I'd have this many sold in a week. So now here I am, like my hand is hurting from trying to write everyone something nice. You know what I mean?
That's a nice problem to have. And it actually is a perfect segue. So let's get into this. This week we have J.E. Rome, author of, oh God, I knew I was going to do this. Tapped Yet Unrooted, Poetic Word Slaughter. Thanks for joining us, Rome.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
What's up, man?
My guy, I appreciate you.
Long time no see.
I know, the man behind the can, my buddy Tito.
What's up?
You knew him as Tito.
I know him as Tito Pecan.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to start there? Start with a little bit of history between you two?
Yeah.
We can.
All right. You want it?
Go ahead.
Cool. So Ro and I met back when you started SJC. When did you start? With 2015?
It was 2016.
2016. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was.
So the day I showed up, they asked me to introduce myself, and I said, "My name is Rome, and I'm writing a book. I'm trying to become a poet."
It's true.
Yeah. Like I didn't know what else to tell.
Do.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what else to say.
Respect.
You nailed it. You wrote the book.
Oh yeah. Here we are.
That was how long ago?
That was in 2016, so that would have been about 4 years ago. But I started this whole ride 9 years ago, around 2011.
Damn. You saw it through to the end. Mad respect for that.
Well, it's been tough because the book is basically about my upbringing, but it's kind of like in a way where they're my truths. I didn't want to tell anyone else's story. I wanted it to be mine. I wanted it to be authentic. And I didn't want anyone to be upset that I was sharing something that they may have felt belonged to them. So I tried my hardest to do it in my own words.
Sure.
That's awesome. That's a really good way to look at that too. I guess I've obviously never written a book, and I probably never will. I feel like people don't need that from me. They can just listen to the podcast. But
right.
Yeah, I like the idea. I like what you said when you said like it's your truths. Like you're trying to say it in your own words. That way, of course, there's like other people involved, but this is the way you took that.
Exactly. Like I have a sibling that they're super close to my best friend, and we always say like when she reads what I write, and she was part of a same situation, she was like, I've never seen it that way. Same truth, different version. So that's what's kind of cool about the whole thing is, like I said, it's through my eyes. It's not your story. It's my story.
That's cool. I mean, I guess that's like the first time I think I've ever heard, thought of anything that way. Like you always hear there's two sides to everything.
Correct.
But you only hear that when somebody says there's three sides.
Right. Yours, mine, and the truth, right?
There you go. I was so confused. I was like, wait, what?
My granddad used to say that. There's always three sides of the stories, his, hers, and the truth.
And that's exactly true. And I deal with that a lot, especially lately now that the book's out. Like, I've pissed off so many people, I can't even tell you.
Really?
Even without even having read a word, people are upset. And even though I explained to them, these are my stories and my truths, not happening.
Are they
Ugh.
upset at you for sharing, or are they upset at you for?
Yeah, it's basically forgive and forget it ever happened.
Sure.
And when I'm growing up and I'm having anxiety attacks and I'm reserved and I'm off to on my own and people are wondering what the hell is wrong with me, that's what's wrong with me. I'm sitting in my own disbelief, I guess you could say.
Sure. It seems like it was very therapeutic to write this. Like
Oh,
it was
absolutely.
like your own healing process in a way.
Well, that's what happened. I had gone to a doctor because I had a severe anxiety attack. And the doctor was like, if you don't let this go, it's going to kill you. You need to find a way to let it go. And he was like, do you write? And I'm like, I write some poetry on Facebook. And he was like, well, do it. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that like that one conversation kind of turned into like a book. It's like a tangible object now. Like that's pretty.
The most difficult part of it is like, I don't know if you've ever been through something like super traumatic and then you force yourself to forget because you don't want to live in that instant. I force myself to remember everything.
That's interesting. I don't know if that's, I mean, I've never had to live through anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, like, I guess like I wouldn't know until I was like faced with that option of, either live with it or like try to forget about it. But I have no idea what my like gut reaction would be.
As somebody currently going through a therapy type situation, like I'm having to look at some of those stories and some of those stuff. And the person that we're working with is suggesting we write it down. So I found it extremely challenging, even just to reflect on my own life. I've had some things happen, but I wouldn't say anything was like hugely whatever. But even still, unlocking some stuff that like you kind of pointed out, that I have kind of forgotten whether it was intentionally or not, has been powerful and interesting and hard. So I can only imagine what facing the type of stuff that you faced and then in turn putting that into a page, like how much effort, like how many rewrites, like have you scrapped more than you kept?
This book has been written, and I kid you not, at least 4 times. And it was, and I'll tell you exactly why. When I first started writing it, I was angry. So everything I wrote was like me lashing out. You did this. Why did you do this? Why did you do this to me, to us? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and then I'd let it sit. And then I'd go back and I'd be like, maybe that was too much. So I did take a lot out. Not everything that I wrote originally is in the book. There are no names. There's no titles. There's no breadcrumbs. It's just straight up situational poetry.
That's awesome. What got you into poetry to start?
So I was on Facebook, and I'm competitive by nature. Like there's this saying that goes, why try to fit in when you were meant to stand out? And I live by that. Like, I don't ever want to be like anybody else. So I used to start sharing like little quotes on Facebook and putting like my signature after it. But then other people started to copy it. And I'm like, oh, you're going to copy that? Well, I'm going to rhyme. You know what I mean? So by mistake, I rhymed a poem to my sons, and it got like the most likes I'd ever received on a post. And I was like, I'm onto something. And I ran with it. I've been writing poetry ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's gotten so bad that I think in rhyme.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So
I have some friends that like to spit and like to rap and stuff, and they too find it, because they're writing so often and so just frequently, that they're thinking in rhymes, and like it's even the half rhymes or the forced rhymes that they're trying to figure out new ways to merge words together.
Well, that's the thing. After writing and writing and writing, it's become a puzzle to me. Like, I'm constantly like, if I move this here and I move that there, this sounds better here, but this rhymes better there. And it's like a labyrinth of words.
Do you prefer people read your writing as opposed to hearing your writing?
Yeah, because I've just now discovered spoken word, and I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying. And sure. I posted one like last week, and someone messaged me and like, how come you don't rap? I'm like, because I'm not a rapper.
Duh.
I'm a writer. I'm a poet. But I think the two go hand in hand. I really do believe that.
Have you ever like recorded any have you ever tried to rap?
Not rap per se, but I've got 3 pieces out there that I do the spoken word. It does sound rap-ish because I guess I'm influenced. You know, Eminem is my guy. So it's hard not to be influenced by a guy that writes as well as he does.
I was gonna wait until later to ask you, but I gotta know right now. What's the best Eminem record?
I'm still stuck on Kamikaze.
Okay.
Only because I feel like that's the one where he was the most but like he was so hard and he didn't give 2 shits what anyone thought. You know what I mean? Like, I dig that. That's the way I write. I write like, you're gonna read it. I know you're gonna see it, but I don't care what you think.
Yeah. That's dope. Huh. Yeah, I had a note. I was gonna ask you about that later. Like after we did the interview, if Eminem didn't come up, and then thinking about it now, I'm like, there's no way we would have got through this whole interview without Eminem coming up at some point.
No, he has to, because he's such a strong like lyricist. And you can't say that I'm a writer and you don't look up to him for one reason or another.
For sure. Oh yeah.
So I can totally tell that you had the hip hop kind of inspiration at times. You have a video playing on your website where you're kind of reading over. It almost looked like a pre-order advertising type deal, but you're reading some stuff in there, and you have a couplet that reminded me a lot of LP. I don't know if you're familiar with him, One Half to Run the Jewels, but like the way you went like ba 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 ba. It was awesome. It was like a nice little, but again, it wasn't intentional to be hip like a rap. It was just rhythmically to what you were saying, and I thought that was really cool.
I believe that was the Devil Inside poem. That's what I said. That when I said that I've done a few spoken words, that was one of them. And like I said, I don't intentionally try to rap because I know that's not me, but I do want it to come off like this kid knows what he's doing. You know what I mean?
To me, it almost seems like it's just another evolution of your creative expression. Whereas, like, you can write, you can paint, you can also paint in front of people, you know, read your poetry in front of people. But I find it fascinating with the written word that it leaves so much to the people reading, to the reader, essentially, where they're going to read it and take it for a different way that you may not even have considered or maybe not even intended. And
that happens to me all the time. I've started this thing on my Instagram where I asked people to read my words out loud and react to them. And so far, only 1 out of 9 people, I believe it's 9, Ricky was one of them, only 1 out of the 9 people have gotten my word, like my thought process correct. And that's not a knock at them. I think it's cool that they interpreted it in a totally different way than it was intended for me when I wrote it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what I love about like abstract art. Abstract art tells way more about the viewer than it does the artist. And the way people interpret it and the way people, like, it impacts them speaks volume about who they are in a person, the experiences they've had in life. So the way to see your writing resonate with people and just hit people differently, to me, is just fascinating. And it really shows the power of creativity and creative works. And that's just it. And like, I have a strong global following, and most of my biggest supporters come from the Africa. And they love it. Yeah, they love it over there. Like, they hit me up all the time, like, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote this. And it's so cool because it's not my friends in Worcester anymore. It's people in Africa. So that's really cool.
So sick.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, you're transcending borders and transcending cultures.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what hits me the most. Like, whenever someone tells me like, oh, something you wrote hit me so hard, and I'm over here in the UK, and it's like, people in the UK struggle the way people in the United States struggle. Like, we bond over hardships.
That's rad. So how did you go? So, okay, I get like starting to write the book, but like, how did you kind of like tie it all together and get a book deal or a publishing deal, and kind of get that process going?
So I wrote this entire book and it was all out of order. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So then I went back and took 200 and some poems and put them in chronological order.
As like, as you wrote them or how they happened?
After the fact. I wrote all these poems and I was like, it doesn't tell a story. The story is there. Every one is an individual story, but it doesn't tell a complete story. Then I went back and put them in chronological order, and now you've got A to B. So that's how I started. And then they said, well, now you need a literary agent. And I'm like, okay, how do I get a literary agent? Well, you've got to write it. Yeah. I thought they fall out of trees. I'm like, okay, you would think that writing the book would be the hardest part of the process. It's not. Finding a publishing deal that doesn't want $5,000 up front, that's the hardest part. So I wrote a query letter and I shipped it out to 100 people, and every one of them said, this is amazing, but it's not for us. And I started to really, really get discouraged. I was like, I'm self-publishing. I'm just going to sell it to my friends. And one of those friends happened to reach out to me one day. And he says to me, he's like, how's the poetry going? And he had just published his own book. And I said, well, the book is great. I've got it written. I've got a manuscript. I said, I'm just not having any luck. And he was like, well, what's your story? And I started to explain the book to him. And he was so intrigued by the end of our conversation that he's like, I'm going to pitch this to my publishing company. And he did, true to his word. He came back 2 days later. He was like, they love it. And I'm like, who loves it? He's like, the publishing company. Here's the email address. Hit him up. And I did like it at work. Hi, I'm Jerome. What's going on? This person said that I should contact you. And they were like, oh, yeah, we want to set up a meeting. And we did. We set up a meeting just like this. I'm in a Zoom conference, and I explained to her the story. And next thing you know, send us your manuscript. We want it. Cool. And I became a traditionally published author without an agent in poetry.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Sometimes it really is like you're in the right place at the right time with the right person.
Yeah.
And having the right person believe in what you're telling them.
Agree. But I also think you putting yourself out there and putting the work in got you into that position to be in the right spot at the right time. Like, I think it goes hand in hand.
Well, that's what they say. They say that I'm being a little bit too humble about it, because they say, like, if you hadn't spoken to me, then this wouldn't happen. But I'm always on the other side of the fence. I'm like, no, you gave me the nod. You know what I mean? You helped me out. That's me. That's what I'll always be.
Yeah. I feel that.
So you have the publisher. You've gone through the production process now. Who did the art for the book?
The original concept was drawn by artist Jason Boucher, who's a good friend of mine. I said to Jay, I have this idea. The original concept was going to be, I wanted a tree growing out of my chest. Wow. I was like, this is going to be like the face of the book. It's about my family tree. I need this. And we mocked it up, and I was like, doesn't look right. So one of my favorite shows is Big Brother. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Big Brother on TV. Well, Big Brother is where they put a bunch of strangers in a house, and they all have to live together. And the last one in the house without getting voted out wins. Well, when it starts to get down to the nitty gritty, they have a saying, you got to get a little blood on your hands. And I was like, you know what? This book is me getting a little bit of blood on my hands. So then we went with the cover art of me looking down on my hands all bloody after, doing my thing.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So Jay Boucher mocked that up. And then after I was writing the book and everything, the cover, I was trying to have like everything be wow. The words have to be wow. The story has to be wow. The cover has to be wow.
Sure.
So I said to another coworker, artist Chris Cruz, who's phenomenal. If you've never seen her work, she's truly a phenomenal artist. And I said to her, well, Jay drew this drawing. Is there any way we could digitalize? Is that the word, digitalize?
Digitize.
Digitize. If we could digitize this. And she came back, and that's, if you can see that.
Rad.
So that became the cover.
I love the fact, I know this is like probably a very minor detail, but the first time I saw that, seeing you with like that is you from remembering to see you every single day back when we worked together, like white tee, necklace, the hat, like that's just like even if I didn't know that you wrote that, I would think like, yo, that looks a lot like Jerome on this book. Like,
yeah. Well, and that's what it was. Like I said, like my signature is all over this. Like Chris, she did a phenomenal job. Again, she did the layout on the inside of the book. She had her hands in everything. She really, really stepped up and helped me out with this. But it is, everything had to be wow. I wanted someone to look at this on a bookshelf and be like, what is that? That's a poetry book?
yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
like a murder. No, it looks like a murder mystery. You know what I mean?
It really does. I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest book guy in the world, but like, I don't see that cover and think like, this is a book of poetry. Like you were saying, I would think murder mystery or something, you know, kind of like that.
But when you read this book, everything ties in. You're gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, okay, the cover really does fit into the book. Like, I hit everything. There wasn't any stone that I left unturned. I wanted to make sure that if I'm gonna do this, it's go big or go home.
That's rad.
Yeah, why not, right? You only got really one shot at it. Do it right.
Yeah. Well, the thing, like, I've been, for lack of better words, I've been disowned by a lot of family members. And a lot of that has to do with this book. A lot of it doesn't, but it is what it is.
I feel you. I mean, I don't have any personal trauma like that I've unearthed to cause it, but I have my own disassociation from a family, from a collection of what I would call family, and can appreciate the feeling of not really, there's no reason to connect you. Like, family is important, but you also get to choose who you spend your time with.
Exactly.
And if they're not of value, then they're not for you.
Yeah, in my book, I say sometimes the family that one gains is better than the one that you're handed. Sometimes we let go of those that have taken you for granted. Sure. And that's the way I feel. Like, not everybody is meant to be family.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I've got friends that treat me better than my relatives.
Oh, yeah. Same. Yeah, same.
Same. That's the thing. I think that kind of could connect us to everybody. You know, not everybody obviously has gone through your story, but like everybody has some kind of aspect of like not kind of coming out of a certain way with a certain family member as they went into it.
Right. Like I said, I don't hold any grudges. I don't harbor any ill feelings. I had a story to tell from my point of view, and it was therapeutic for me to put it on paper. And a lot of people said, why not stop there? And the reason is because that's not closure. Yeah. Closure is sharing it with you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's your closure. I mean, you got to get it the way you need to get it. Mm-hmm. So like, aside from, so I've seen it a lot on like social media. I know you did another podcast too, right? Not just us.
I'm going to be doing another podcast. Actually, two. I just got offered another one yesterday.
Oh,
so I
sick.
have two other podcasts coming up. Yeah.
No, nice. So we were first. Nice.
You're the first. That's why I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting into. No, I mean, I've seen your podcast, and I love your podcast, but that's as a fan. Like, coming on and talking about yourself is like, that's not me. I'm very like, I'm an introvert when it comes to that type of thing.
All right, that's a good point. So aside from the other two podcasts, do you have anything else lined up for like ways of marketing the book, or?
Well, I have a website that is www.tappedpoetry.com. I am also on all social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on several poetry sites. Like, everything has been an amp up for this book. Like, I didn't half-ass anything. Like I said, like I was going to go big or go home. So anything I've ever shared anywhere was a build up to this book. And that's why I said, like, why stop? Why would I write this and go through all this and put myself through like trauma and then burn it?
That's a good point. The other two podcasts, are they poetry podcasts or?
No, I'm supposed to be going on my publishing company's podcast.
Nice.
And spazzing out with Spaz from WAN.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard his podcast yet.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited because I'm a fan. I love. Sure. He's funny. He's super funny. So.
Yeah. No, I hung out with him one day when he was up in the bucket down in Framingham, up in the lift or whatever. We sent up some beers or something.
So so shout out to Spaz from Spazzing Out.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Is
So
that
you've been
sorry, I didn't mean to
go
cut
for
you
it,
off.
homie.
I was just gonna ask him, what is the Fenway Park thing behind you?
That's my mural. That's my Fenway Park mural.
That's so sick.
My sister hand painted that.
That's
That's
gorgeous.
rad.
Heck yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was like a video screen thing or something, but
No,
that's super.
my sister hand painted that.
Oh yeah, makes me miss baseball even more.
Doesn't it? I was like, I'm going on. I got to wear my Red Sox shirt for Ricky.
There you go. I got my Red Sox hat.
I got
I need some more. I need some more Worcester gear though. People may not know. I'm born and raised Worcester, Massachusetts. So
Yeah. So how long did you live in Worcester before you moved out?
I lived in Worcester all the way up until 7th grade. After 7th grade, we moved.
Nice.
So I was raised on Wall Street for the most part. Went to Grafton Street School. Went to 1 year at Worcester East Middle, the worst year of my life. But
Really?
yeah, that place was crazy.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So we started this by you saying that your hand was cramping up. You've been signing a whole bunch of books, I see, right before the release of this, Bad Larry.
Yes.
Like, how's it feel with the book finally coming to fruition? Like, what are the plans for the release?
To be honest with you, it's like I've never been so nervous and so excited about something at the same time.
Understandable.
Like when I said this book is coming, I felt like a lot of people didn't believe it was ever coming. It's been 9 years. Like you pipe it up for so long. Like I've been really like talking about this for 9 years. And then when I say, hey, this is the D-Day, you know what I mean? People are like, yeah, okay, Rome. And then I drop it and they're like, oh, this is real. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the way it's felt. It's felt like 9 years in the making of something. Like I said to one of my relatives the other day, I was like, what do I do when this is over? Like this was the big buildup. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a really good point.
I was going to ask if you had anything else planned for.
I have written a children's book with artist Jason Boucher, and so that'll be coming out in the future. And that's my goal is I want to write a sequel to Tap. In my departed son's name, it'll be Emmanuel's Garden will be the sequel to Tap, and that'll be after my son who passed away.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jay Boucher, is that Jay that I know?
Yes, it is. Jay Boucher, who does the artistry for SGC Custom Drums.
Yeah. I always thought his name was...
a phenomenal artist. Yeah.
He is. Dude, he's amazing. Everything he does is incredible.
Yeah,
I thought his name was Jay Butcher until like I could never. I don't know why, but I thought it was like Butcher, like B-O-U, like
C-H-E-R.
C-H-E-R. But I'm wrong.
Yeah. So we came together. I wrote the story. He's done the illustration. So that'll be on. That's coming up in the near future. And again, like I said, I want to do a debut, follow up to Tap, and then I want to write children's books. I have a son that's he's type 1 diabetic, so I have a diabetes book that I'm in the process of writing, children's book, things of that nature. So continue to raise awareness on topics that I don't feel get enough.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool that you have. It's kind of cool that you're like your jump off project is something that is a lot darker, and then but like the next things you have coming down the pipeline are like children's books, you know, have a little bit more of a like
it's lighter. It's funny that you say that, because someone was like, why not lead with the children's book? And I'm like, because Tap is me. Like when you read Tap, you're gonna know me.
Yeah.
And then anything else that follows, you're gonna be like, this came from there. You see what I'm saying? You got to start. They always say that it starts in darkness. Whatever starts in darkness comes to light.
Yeah.
Tapped is my darkness.
Okay.
That's why
Bambi's really cool.
mom got killed at the beginning of the story.
Is what?
That's why Bambi's mom gets killed at the beginning of the story.
Yeah, good point.
You got to go through some dark shit to get to your brightest bright.
That's it, and that's exactly it. I don't know anybody, and let's be honest. I mean, you haven't been through what I've been through, but I don't know anybody that hasn't been through something.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just may have been through more or seen more. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I find the more that I share, the more people I get in contact with, or contacted by, I should say, that are like, something you wrote, this, that, and the third, you know, I relate to that, or I'm going through that, or I've been there, and thank you for speaking up. And I even say that, like, when I was growing up, I never had that person that was like, it's okay, I've been there. And that this book is me telling the world, it's okay, I've been there.
Yeah. That's a really good way to look at that. It's cool that that is bringing people from all over the world, like, hitting you up. Like, do you ever think about what this process would have been like pre-social media?
It wouldn't exist. It absolutely wouldn't exist. I've built these relationships through social media.
Yeah.
We're fortunate enough to be in that time where social media, let's be honest, like, everybody knows everybody's business.
For sure. That's a good point. I mean, this podcast wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for social media.
You know what I mean? I know what Ricky drinks. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know that without social media. Yeah,
that's a really good point.
So yeah, no, social media has been everything. And like I said, I've met friends that I didn't think I would be friends with, and I've lost people that I thought would never turn their backs. So
that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool you have like such a I don't want to say like a tangible outlet, but like, I don't know, I can't wrap my head around the fact that like you said, this started as like a Facebook status basically,
mm-hmm.
and has morphed into like your 9-year life work, you know, like that's pretty amazing.
Well, the thing is, like, the more I shared on Facebook, the more people were like, you should be writing a book. And I'm like, I'm going to write a book. You know what I mean? So I did, when I first started this, I had like 100 poems, and I was like so proud of myself. I had 100 written poems, and someone was like, that's awesome. Who's your target audience? Oh shit, I don't have a target audience. So I literally scrapped 100 poems. And then that was like, I had gone to the doctor, like I said earlier, and he was like, you need to get this stuff out or you're going to kill yourself. You're just beating yourself down. I'm like, I have a target audience.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
It's cool to think that some of your writing could resonate with somebody else and help somebody else get through a period that they may not be strong enough to talk about or strong enough or want to even address truly, and could potentially grow through some of your words.
I can't tell you, like, this is the most vulnerable I've ever felt in my entire life, whereas I do tell things that I wouldn't have said behind closed doors. True. About myself. That's not about anyone else. Things about myself that I was like, I'm taking this with me to the grave. And then I start writing this book and I'm like, I'm not taking this anymore. It gave me courage. It gave me courage in a way where it was like, you know what? Maybe if I speak out, then everyone else will start to follow suit. Someone else will be like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore.
That's awesome.
I believe that we all have to play with the cards we're dealt. Like, that's just the way I face life. And I think so much of that is acknowledging and really addressing the stuff that didn't really go your way, whether it be whatever, however the fuck you want to look at that. Mm-hmm. So having the courage to truthfully look to inward, to do the self-reflection, to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it's almost taboo in the era that I grew up in to speak about your household.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What happens in the house stays in the house. And my family still believes that to this day. I'm trying to raise my children different. I'm trying to break the cycle of, you can't speak about this shit. Like, my son and I, he's more open with me than I've ever been with my parent. And I love him to death for it, to a fault. I have to, you know, Mike, you can't say that. But, but he has the courage to say it to me. Whereas I would have never gone to someone. I went to someone one time in my life and they told me, if it happened to me, you must have wanted it. And then they took it further and said, if it happened to you, you must have deserved it. And that was the last time I went to someone else with something serious.
Yeah.
I don't ever want my children to be in a position where they can't come to me and say, hey, this has happened.
Yeah.
So that's this book. That's me telling the world, that's the big F you. You know, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm going to tell my story. It's not your story. I don't care what you say, what you could have been there, but that's your story to tell. Tell your story.
Right.
This one's mine.
You write your own book.
Exactly. Control your narrative.
That's awesome. That's badass. Like you're taking that approach to all of this. It's really, really cool.
I mean, it got bad. Like I have had family members threaten to sue me. There's no names.
Yeah.
I had to come up with a unique way to tell my story. So you'll find that the entire story is written around a family tree. Grown-ups are leaves. Siblings and children are seeds. And I tell the story as if you fell off my tree.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah.
And like I said, every poem is a story in itself, but it's a build-up to the next. And then it snowballs. Like, by the time you get to the end, you're like, holy shit. and that's been the response. Every person that I've read this is like, holy crap, I can't believe you went through this. You wouldn't know. Like, and that's the other thing that I've been trying to tell people is I want you to be able to look at people like a Ricky and be like, he may have been through some shit. He doesn't show it, but he may have.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at me and be like, this kid's been abused.
No, yeah.
I don't carry myself that way.
No.
You just
I'm
wouldn't
saying,
know.
like, you come to work talking about basketball and sports, and you're always in the best mood ever. Like,
yeah. That's me now. That wasn't me before. And that's the change. You guys saw the change. You got me at the end of the writing period. You know what I mean? Like, you got me when I'd already put myself through it. Prior to that, I probably wouldn't have been as upbeat. I probably wouldn't have been as happy with myself. I would have been still self-loathing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool.
So the book comes out officially May 15th.
Correct.
This Friday?
Yes, Friday. So I've been selling signed copies myself through the website. And May 15th is the official launch date. Everywhere books are available online, you can get it.
Really? Through all like major distributors and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it'll be on Amazon, it'll be on Barnes & Noble, it'll be everywhere. Yep.
That's exciting. Cool. Available for Kindle and all that?
Exactly, ebook, yep.
Very cool. And then just give people a reminder of where they can find that.
It's www.tappedpoetry.com.
Rad. We should just everybody go through and kind of take a look at Rome's writing and
check it out.
That's fascinating. Anything else you want to touch on before we move into the last
if you want to see like more examples of what I've written, I'm on Facebook under Poetic Rome. POETICROME.
Awesome. And we'll do some plugs before we get out of here too, just to remind the people and help them find you.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Moving into Stokes and Poke.
Let's do it.
Take us away, Solon.
Schools closed, Tom Hanks, trouble in the big banks, no vaccine, quarantine, no more toilet paper scene, travel ban, Weinstein, panic, COVID-19, NBA gone away, what else do I have to say? It's time for Stokes and Pokes now, it's time to do Stokes and Pokes. Something like that. It could work around with whatever's going to work.
Thank you so much, Solon. I'll start us off with the Stokes and Pokes. I'm going to poke, sitting here in this office, working my hunch off. I don't know. I have a television screen right here, like a 32-inch television screen right behind this computer. And normally I will have either like live music or some kind of playlist or sometimes some kind of podcast or whatever, something playing here, because I spend too much time in this goddamn room by myself and it's really lonely. So like sometimes I'll listen to other people play video games to make it feel like I have friends, or music to make it feel like I'm whatever, have something going on. Fucking YouTube, and I'm poking YouTube. For whatever reason, on music playlists specifically, after 40 minutes, every 60 seconds or so, it asks you if you're still listening. So if I'm in the fucking zone working on something, like I was working on a website today, trying to get into like the nitty gritty of code. Every 35 seconds, this thing is it's pausing the music and asking me if I'm still listening. Fuck you, YouTube. Like, I want to listen to Baroness. I don't want to listen to your stupid silence. So if I click it once, that should be enough.
Yeah.
Confirmed. God damn. Anyway. That's
you get Spotify, dog.
Well, and that's exactly it. I like watching the musicians play. There's just something about the...
Oh, okay. I get it. Sorry. I
yeah.
Playlist going. I didn't realize you meant like actual live performances happening.
there's so many beautifully shot live performances out there from like the past 10 years that I just haven't really listened to yet. But you're 100% correct. I did give up on YouTube and went to Spotify. So
There you go.
I don't know if you guys can hear. My wife is yelling at our tiny dog. And I don't know how much of it's getting picked up. I really hope
I can't hear anything.
I don't hear anything.
Damn. She's anyway, I am stoked about a project that my wonderful friend Jess Curtin and I have been working on for a little while now. Last Friday on 508 Day, we released the very first issue of the Worcester Quarantine. It's a collection of creative works from people around the Worcester area that reflect what life is like during the pandemic and during this quarantine. It's free to read online. If people want to go to facebook.com/Worcester Quarantine, QUARANZINE, you can check it out. In the first issue, we feature the work of the Worcester Youth Press Project, which is the organization that Jess and I have been working with Outreach on, teaching young students how to make zines. So those students, Bella, Eileen, Emily, Erica, Grace K, Grace S, and Mia all have contributed, as well as Gabe Rollins, Tracy Whitney, Bree of Studio Tabella, local artist Grim, Wash Slaps, Brianna Nebel, Thomas Somebody, Jess's niece Eloise, Adam Cutler, the homie Marcus Ohanesian, Kelly Momberger, and my wonderful wife Sarah have all contributed. It's 32 pages, all in black and white, and we're already working on the second one. And it's fascinating to me who's read it. Like, so it's all through Issue. I don't know if you guys ever gone on issue.com. But you can put up magazines. You can read magazines for free online. And it has the whole page flip aspect to it. It works really well on the phones or the tablets because you could sit there and like zoom in and shit. But we're seeing numbers. And in just like, I don't know, it's Monday. So 4 days, we've gotten 300 reads on this thing, which is like, fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to be doing some printed versions. I went out and I bought a printer and I got a bunch of copies ready. I did some artwork on the cover and some stuff on the inside. But it's fucking awesome. And what I love most about it is that it has a combination of like student work. So like really early amateur, not amateur so much as just like early days, as well as a little bit more like, this is Grim. His work is fantastic.
That's cool.
So it's that contrast that I really love. Like it's really eclectic and weird and ranging.
Yeah.
Super excited about it. And that's what I got.
Nice. Dope.
What do you have for us, Rome?
My poke is going to be family drama. I'm over it. I'm no longer going to entertain it. I don't want any more of it.
There you go.
Especially where it pertains to this book. The book is written. The book is coming out May 15th. I don't want to hear about it. You know, it's done.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, I'm still being harassed by family members that are like, we're past that. Let it go.
Yeah. There's no names in there.
No, there's no names. There's no breadcrumbs. That's guilt. That's what there is. There's a lot of guilt. So
yeah.
My stoked is going to be the Friendly House in Worcester, who continues to take care of their community throughout this pandemic. I was raised at the Friendly House. I can't give them enough praise for what they do and what they've done for me personally. So those are my two.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. That's a great stoke. All right. So my poke, I used, and I really hope that it goes back this way, but like I used to absolutely love going grocery shopping. Like it used to be like one of my favorite things to do. It was just, it's like going grocery shopping and then like going to like some liquor stores where there's like a really cool selection. Like even if I don't buy anything, I just like to like walk through and like look at stuff and figure out like what I want. I never go in really with like a hard list. I kind of just go in with like an idea of what I want, but I do also go to the same store so I know where everything is.
Yeah.
So my poke is I've been the one going grocery shopping during quarantine, which is totally fine, and I'm all about it. But also today, going grocery shopping, I think I finally hit my actual breaking point. It went from being this thing that I loved into being like probably the most stressed out I've ever been in a place was today.
I feel that.
there's just so many people, and like you're trying to like be safe for yourself, but you're trying to be safe for them, and you're trying to not touch everything, and you're trying to not touch your phone, but I'm also trying to like make sure like I'm getting everything that like Naomi needs, and like and that I need stuff, and it's just like you start like you it's not a relaxing thing ever.
Right.
And yeah, today just like I was exhausted when I got home, and I was like, all I did was go to the grocery store. How is this possible? But it's just, and like, you know, the aisles are one way, which is a great idea, but I'm trying to like make sure I'm being conscious of which way the aisle's going, but also I'm watching people coming at me, and I'm like, am I wrong? Are they wrong? Like, what happened? Like, I
got yelled at in Walmart for going the wrong way up an aisle.
Really? I haven't seen anybody get yelled at yet. I've heard a lot of stories, but like I haven't actually experienced that. But I think I'm like so scared of being the person who gets yelled at, because I'm like not trying to be like, not trying to like defy the rules. Like I'm all about following them. I totally back it. It's just like, oh man, I
feel you, homie. I was at the store last night trying to get the meat for the burger, and this woman is like optimizing the entire beef section, where I'm trying to just like get in there and look. She has her cart here. She's on the phone. She doesn't give a fuck about anybody. And I just wanted to like, lady, get out of the way.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Like I'm so like, I'm focused on trying to not be in front of something for too long, because I know that I'm not the only person who wants that.
Right.
And like, you know what I mean? It's just, it becomes this like your brain doesn't stop, and you're like, all I'm doing is fucking grocery shopping. Like, how is this becoming so stressful?
I become afraid of the people that sneeze and cough under their masks.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
As soon as I hear it, I run the other way, and I've never been that way.
Yeah, no, me either. And like, you have to be though. Like that's the whole thing. It's like you cannot, you know, you don't want to be around anybody, but you still have to like get the stuff you need. Because like the last thing you want to do is like have to go back to the store if you forgot something.
I've left the store without items. I'm like, I'm not going back down that aisle.
Really?
get that next week.
Yeah, right. Good point. But yeah, so my poke is grocery shopping. I'm a big fan of like the quarantine living. Like I love my lifestyle right now of like just kind of chilling. But I really miss my love of grocery shopping. Because right now it doesn't exist. I really don't like it. But to be fair, it did take me like 2 months to hit that breaking point. So
yeah, we're basically 8 weeks in at this guy.
Yeah. So all right. And then my stoke, aside from what Naomi's making right now, because it smells incredible. Worcester Wares came out with a bunch of new stuff last week. Travis designed most of it and is currently wearing.
There's some other stuff. Only like half of it.
Yeah, but like still. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. So Jess dropped off some of the new shirts at my house Thursday night. So I woke up to a package on my doorstep with a bunch of stuff in it. And like a lot of like me coming into Worcester Wares was trying to bring like a new way of how things go, like bring like fresh eyes onto it, and to bring like a younger male perspective. Because I mean, aside from Travis, I think you're the only guy that was working there.
And I'm basically just Friday guy. I was helping him out.
But it was cool. It's cool to see kind of how things have gone from like, you know, when I started in November to where they are now, and even though I don't design anything, but like kind of like waving that flag for certain things, and then even down to like a color of something that somebody else designed, and then watching it come to life, and then looking at the sales just like kind of going crazy and people loving that same thing. Yeah, I'm just like super stoked on all that. I'm not stoked on packing anymore. I've been packaging orders for a couple days.
It gets old fast.
I have so many to do tomorrow, and I'm just like, I hate this. It's also, we didn't really have like, our process isn't built for as many orders as we got last week. So it's like, it's very slow. It's kind of exciting though, because then it also gives me like the idea of like, okay, I've packaged merch before. Like it can be done way faster than this. I wish I knew how we did this before, so I could have helped like at least put those ideas out there. So I'm excited to get through this week and get caught up on everything, and then hopefully we can start to like implement some processes that make a little more sense. But But yeah, definitely stoked on all the new gear, stoked on all the orders.
I want to give you a shout out on that live stream. I know you had a big hand in that, and that was super fun to just experience and watch. Like I didn't request because I just wanted to have like all the fans get me.
Yeah.
There were some people that were legit excited, and that was just fun to watch.
Yeah, so like, so for anybody, I don't know, Rome, if you saw any of that stuff, but Worcester's, so 508 Day was on Friday.
Yep.
So last year was the first 508 Day, like celebrated 508 Day. This year we wanted to do, I didn't work there last May, but they gave away like a whole bunch of shirts, and we kind of changed that whole process this year because you couldn't go to the store and like try to do anything to win. Kind of had to do it like online. So a couple weeks back, you know that Instagram account, the Fat Jewish, he like posts like memes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I followed him on Seltzer Time because I don't think I follow him through my personal one, but he started doing this like Instagram live like a couple days a week where he would just go live and like bring on, he'd like, who wants to come on? And he'd bring on like random people, and then they would answer a trivia question, and he'd be giving away like he'd pay your rent for a month, or he'd give you a trip to wherever when Corona's over. Like he also has crap tons of money and a lot of sponsors. Like he has those resources. But it was super interesting to watch because you'd watch and there was no build up. Like he would just pop on and be like, all right, what's up, you guys? And like his intern would run his phone or whatever, and he'd like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. What's up, babies? And he'd like pour a glass of wine and like just instantly start bringing people in, and you'd get like 2 seconds. Like he'd bring you on, he'd be like, what's up? You don't get to be like, hey, what's going on? Like, my name's Ricky, I live in what? He's like, what's up? This is your question. Who's Jennifer Aniston dating right now? Yeah?
Oh, wow.
Okay. You don't know? All right, cool. Get her out of here. Bring somebody else in. Like it was just rapid fire. But so when it came to like, how are we going to do our giveaway 508 Day? That's the only thing that made sense to me was that process. Because I was like, yo, like this guy did this, and it was wicked interesting. Like I didn't try to win. I know that I'm not going to get picked. It's like a 1 in a billion chance. Right. Granted, Worcester's it's like a way smaller thing, but like if you, without doing like an actual Instagram live and bringing in like the interview aspect of it, or giving anybody any time really at all, it just comes down to like, we want to give shit away. How do we do that and make it fun? So we decided to go with like that style, but ask them. So then we were trying to figure out like what the trivia questions should be.
I loved them. And
we were like, I was like, yo, don't like every time we have a meeting at work, my number one thing is like, don't think. Like we just need to go with stuff. Like
it's a Seltzer Time mantra.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you wait too long, it's not fun anymore. Like just fucking do it. Like let's go.
Baseball.
No, this is right. This is right in your wheelhouse.
It was. Yeah, it was like this is what I was hired for. It was like this one moment. So I was like, yo, like we're just gonna ask random questions. And Jess was like, oh, I kind of like that. Like, what was your first Worcester experience? And I was like, yeah, it's great. I'm gonna probably go with like, what'd you watch on Netflix yesterday? We tried to ask questions where there was no right or wrong answer. It literally was like just a question to have fun and laugh, and then we gave them whatever the heck we said we were going to give them anyway.
That's awesome.
But it was great. We had like, I think it was like 212 like unique viewers, and we were only on there for like 20 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, it was insane, and a lot of people. We had like an average of like 60 viewers pretty much the entire time, which is really cool. We had a lot of requests to come on, which is a lot to handle, but it was dope.
That was super rad. And it was awesome to have the design come out so people can get the monogram design, the 508 monogram I designed on worcesterwears.com. This, what we're calling the classic rocker.
That reminds me of the, what's that school in Worcester up on Dorchester Hill? Worcester Academy.
Yes. It does kind of look that. That's dope.
Is that their colors?
Yeah, the crimson and white, right?
I think so.
That's interesting.
Travis also did that same shirt in like a navy green with like, is it black or white? I think it's black writing, right?
Do you say navy green?
Or is navy?
I like navy green. No, I love that. It was like army green.
Oh, navy blue.
I love it. No, I love navy green. That's it. That's it from here on out. Yeah, it was like an army green. It was like a olive drab, and it was black writing.
I thought you were giving me shit. Okay, I don't know anything about colors, but I thought you were giving me shit like I was saying the wrong thing, that like navy and green were different. They are. But in my mind, I was thinking army green, and I was like, Travis, like, we all know I don't know, like, design terms.
You gotta be this pedantic, you motherfucker. I love it. Oh, I love it. So yeah, people want that stuff. WorcesterWares.com at WorcesterWares. More stuff coming. Seltzer Time. Seltzer Time has merchandise. So we were pushing the 508 day. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that helped make that a success. We got a ton of notes from people saying that 508 day was some of their busiest days. Like Crust put out more sandwiches that day than they've ever had. So awesome. Zach hit me up and shot me a message. So shout out Zach, shout out everybody that helped. If you're still able to help support small business, please do. Just remember to not be an asshole. You've been stuck inside and they are doing their fucking best to help you. So just check your attitude, check your privilege, and just be thankful you're fucking out of your house.
That was my original poke, but like I kind of went at that the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna hold off on that. But there's actually more of that happening yesterday too. A bunch of people I know that either work in small businesses or own them were saying that people are getting a little. It's becoming a lot. People are a little too entitled right now.
Yeah, but everybody's going through it. It's been 8 fucking weeks. We're all on the goddamn edge. We all want to lose our fucking minds, but we're all in the same shit. So nice. It'll be better if you just be fucking nice.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then before we get into the last little bit, I just want to give a shout out to the anonymous donor that asked me to finally admit that I peel oranges very well. Well played. I'm still not true, but if you go to seltzertime.com and make a donation, you can have us say whatever you want. So that's what that anonymous donor did, and I applaud your creativity. seltzertime.com if anybody else wants to make us say something silly.
That's so funny.
Nice.
Thank you for hanging out with us for an hour talking about this book.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude. Fantastic.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Sorry, guys. How do people find it? Remind the people.
www.tappedpoetry.com.
And then on socials.
My socials, Poetic Rome on Facebook, poetic.rome on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where people can find the piece on Ricky reading your poem?
On Instagram, you can find Ricky reading my poem, yes.
Cool. Yeah, I remember him doing it, and I remembered it, like, it was a cool idea. I'm glad to hear that you kept it going.
Heck yeah. I mean, a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how many people are shy. Like, it hasn't been the easiest thing to get someone to read a poem. So
I remember doing it. I did it at my parents' house, and like I mean, I mess around on camera all the time, but the idea of reading somebody else's words and like trying to not like it's such a different thing to do, right? Reading like your words to a camera while also like trying to focus on like what's going on. Like it was such a different experience for me. I've never had.
I remember I gave you a poem on the Scarlet Letter that related to it. It related to something that had happened to me personally, but as a metaphor, I used the Scarlet Letter, and you were like, "Who the hell is Hester Prynne?"
Do you remember that?
I do.
That's so funny.
And it's, again, that's the type of thing that makes it great. Like you get someone else's interpretation of something that you've done.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Rick's so not much of a book guy.
I'm not. Last night, we have a bookshelf like over there. And you can tell the books that are Naomi's and that are mine, because mine are all either sports or music related. And last night we were watching this past week's Saturday Night Live, and Tina Fey popped on, and she was in front of her bookcase. And Tina Fey and I both have the Keith Richards biography in our bookcase, and I was like, there it is. I'm basically on Saturday Night Live right now.
You're basically Tina Fey.
And my book is available now through me, signed for pre-order. So
yeah, we'll be posting all the links and stuff too, so for sure. But pick it up. I gotta order mine still. I still haven't pre-ordered.
Yeah, what you waiting for?
I don't know. I'm gonna do it right now.
Attaboy.
Awesome. Well, so we should probably sign off so Ricky can order the book. Thank you again,
Yes.
Ron, for coming on. People want to
Thank you so
find
much.
me. I am on the internet at Hunchback Travis.
You can find me at DickChuck77 and also Seltzer Time Official. How do I always almost forget what my Instagram is?
I don't know. You live on there, but
I know.
you got a lot of things to keep track of in that head of yours.
Yeah, true.
Life is hard. Thank you so much for listening and making it through another episode. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Rum.
Appreciate you.
Sorry for partying, everybody.